Memorial Day weekend will be capped off with the DeWalt Cup Series rendition of a 600-mile race at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the World 600. On America's most solemn holiday, 42 drivers are ready to battle for 80 laps, 120 miles around a 1.5-mile intermediate track in the southeast. Which driver and team has the stamina to claim victory in one of the crown jewels of the season? We'll find out next, right here on JRTV. Welcome everyone to the 14th race of the 2025 DeWalt Cup Series season. I'm Joe Rakowski, joined alongside EKH Enterprises team owner Evan Hunter. Evan, great to have you back up in the booth, this time for a points race with a full 42-car field, and what a race you get to be up here for, the World 600. Any NR series, even in real life, you watch the 600-mile race at Charlotte, it is a special race, and here the DeWalt Cup Series first ever World 600, we're going to be in for one heck of a treat, I have to think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Again, thank you for having me on, Joe. I think it'll be a really fun race. Charlotte's always fun, guys are going pretty fast here, and we've got a lot of aggressive drivers in the field, so it'll be fun for sure.
Yeah, great thing you mentioned the speeds. They'll be going over 190 miles an hour at the end of these straightaways. In fact, at the end of the backstretch, they'll be nearing 200 miles an hour going off into turns 3 and 4. They'll be slowing down into the 160s for the corners. So there's about 30 to 40 miles an hour speed difference from the end of the straightaway to the center of the corner. That's going to create a lot of passing opportunities for these drivers and really a lot of opportunities for some of the fast cars to come through. But Evan, looking at the starting grid, I don't know if the fast cars really have to go anywhere because a lot of them are starting at the front of the field. Laura Chung is on pole for Otter Island Motorsports. Big name there. You have all three Tucson cars starting inside the top 10. Vision Motorsports has 2 cars up there. Nathan Stapleton, the new points leader. The Dominator at Montreal starts inside the top 5. You have your 3 cars starting inside the top 20. This is a track where I think, this is the point of the season. We're going to start to see those front teams, they start to pull away from the back of the field, and that separation is going to get greater and greater. And I think Charlotte right here, this is the biggest example. Intermediate track at a track that's a driver-style racetrack. This is where the big names are going to come out to play, and really it could set the tone for the rest of the season going into the chase and who could maybe fight for the championship.
Definitely, and I mean it's a long race too. You're gonna see the best drivers be able to endure the intensity of a long race too, and yeah, like you said, there's plenty of the top drivers in points just starting at the start of the field, and there's I think we'll probably see a winner from the top 10, top 15 today, and it'll be exciting to watch regardless.
I do want to give a call out to some drivers that have been all right this season, maybe not all that great, but are starting well here today amongst those big-name drivers and teams that we mentioned. You have Eli Bright for Me Motorsports. He has a win this season at Boston. He's currently in a wildcard spot as well, but he starts 6th there today. It's a great starting spot for that Me Motorsports camp, which really had a dismal Montreal race. I mean, Seaman got wrecked on lap 1. Burnett had no pace. Eli Bright blew up from a top 10 spot. Jordan Stout, Ace Motorsports, has been down this season, but Jordan Stout starts in 7th in that number 66. Could this possibly be a night where Ace Motorsports can put together a complete race for one of their drivers, if not more of their drivers? Tim Gary, Joshua Cox start pretty decently as well, but they're outside the top 20. Mathis Wells, it's been a struggling season for Atlanta Motorsports beyond Anthony Hernandez's win at Road America, and Mathis has really been in the brunt of having some difficulties this season. Hasn't really shown much pace in that number 39 car, but he starts 12th here tonight, a very respectable starting position. We'll have to see what Wells can do. Matthew Burnett starts in 13th. Me Motorsports has all 3 of their cars starting on the ends, or all 3 of the cars starting inside the top 21, 2 of them on the inside. So Matthew Burnett could also be one trying to move himself back up into the top 20 in points. Ryan Wilson for Crispy Fry Racing Ventures, he thinks that team is starting to turn a corner, and he thinks that 48 car is getting a little bit faster back to where they were at the beginning of the season. Wilson starts in 17th, so watch for him to be a dark horse, maybe a top 10, top 15 run here tonight. And Ludovic Charette rounds at the top 20. Red Lightning Racing has been pretty poor this season. I think Ludovic has put that car on her back and is carrying it to performances higher than where that car should be performing. She starts in 23rd tonight. Her teammates start back in 40th and 41st. So watch for Ludovic if she can find a way to the bottom, get around race traffic. Who knows? Maybe she can put the race pace in that car, which hasn't been there this season. But Evan, last race at Montreal, we saw Tucson Racing. We didn't mention them much during the race, But they had all 3 cars finish inside the top 7. They move into second in the owner standings. They have all 3 cars starting inside the top 10 in this race. And oh, by the way, they only have 1 win this season. It came in the first race at Daytona Super Speedway. So this team has been outstanding as of late, but they still only have that 1 win at a track where really you wouldn't expect them to be the winners.
Yeah, it's been kind of shocking. Like you'd expect like them to be getting a lot more recognition, but uh Jericho's had bad luck, so he hasn't had the season to show for it. And Rodriguez has been strong all season, and Keegan's been strong too. They've just been, overshadowed by the faster teams like Otter Island and like Vision Motorsports.
Yep. So I think they're starting to though put themselves into a position to say, hey, we are just as good, if not better, than Otter Island and Vision Motorsports. So we'll see how they can do here tonight in the World 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. One final point before we get to the green flag. This is race number 14 of the season. This is the final race before we start to get to that in-season tournament type stuff. So the top 20 in points after tonight's race are locked into the tournament no matter what happens. Then 21st to 42nd get put into head-to-head matchups for Pocono next time out, and then the winner of those matchups moves on to make it a 31-person bracket, and the points leader after tonight's race gets a bye into the second round of the in-season tournament. So a lot riding. The points are pretty tight at the top. You have Nathan Stapleton leading over Jerry Chen, but it's only by 12 points. 14 points back is Brian Rodriguez. 19 points back is Laura Chung. Any of those 4 could leave as the points leader depending on how the other 3 run here tonight. So it's big there. You want to get that second round bye. You don't then have a chance to get knocked out as a wild card in the first round. So watch for that. There are some drivers near that cut line for the top 20. They could get desperate if they know where their standing is late in this race. Well, let's now get to picks to win. Last time out at Montreal, Trey and I just keep going very close to each other. It was, second and third. I think it was second and third at Vermont, second and third again at Montreal. I won this one. And our season average is still very, very close and only getting closer as the season draws on. But, Evan, as the Gatorade starting grid is going to start to roll at the left side of the screen, let's get your pick to win here for the World 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I think I'm going to go with a guy who's starting he's starting mid-pack, a little bit farther back. I'm going to go with the 27 of Gabe Willard. He starts on the inside. I think he'll be able to work his way up through the field, and hopefully he gets a win for me. So.
Well, Gabe Willard, he did win at an intermediate earlier this season at Kansas. He did it in pretty crazy fashion. There's a lot of crazy racing there, and we're expecting to see some crazy racing here tonight as well. So Gabe Willard, Southern Cross Racing, a pretty good team. Don't count them out for being up there at the front of the field when it matters most at the end of this one. I'm going to go up to the front. I'm going to take the front row. I'm taking this number 54, Chris Jericho, who's had so much bad luck this season. I think the bad luck is finally going to go away. It's going to turn around into some good luck here tonight. With Stapleton winning last time out at Montreal, Jericho is by far the driver who's led the most laps of the season, but has not yet won a race. I think here tonight in race number 14, he becomes the 12th different winner in the DeWalt Cup Series and puts himself into the wild card race to make it into the chase in the 2025 season. So it's an 80-lap race here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We'll have 2 pit stops here tonight. The field window 29 to 33 laps, so we'll be seeing pit stops around lap 30, then around lap 60. There goes the pace car in. It's the longest race of the DeWalt Cup Series season. Glad to have Evan Hunter along for the ride here as we get the green flag for the 14th race of the season on JRTV. Evan, what a jump for Laura Chung. She got away, but Matt Tuck is already attacking into turns 3 and 4. Chung gets down low. Stapleton climbs the banking through 3 and 4. Jordan Stout goes 3 wide. Matt Tuck wants to lead off 4, but Laura Chung's going to lead the first lap and get a bonus point here at Charlotte. But Tuck already to the inside with Jericho right up to the outside as well. They race off into turns 1 and 2 at full speed now, nearly 200 miles an hour. And Matt Tuck uses the bottom lane. He gets through and leads here at Charlotte.
Yeah, Chung really got a great jump on the start, but Tuck really worked his way through 3 and 4 great on that first lap, and now he's in the lead.
See how that bottom is working as well for everyone, as the outside not really at the moment. The tires are still pretty fresh. We will see some pretty decent tire fall off as this race goes on. Probably about 2 seconds of fall off over a 30-lap fuel run as Tuck, Chung get away. Max Davis has not yet won this season either. He's up there with Jericho in terms of has had a lot of speed but has not been able to get a consistent result to get to victory lane. Maybe tonight's night for Max Davis. His teammate leads. He's up bound for third with Jericho. Jordan Stout made a big move on the start. He gets up to fifth. Brian Rodriguez, who's trying to go 2 for 2 in the Crown Jewels this season, won the Daytona 500, trying to win here. He's up on the inside in 6th, now going for 5th on Jordan Stout with the points leader Nathan Stapleton right behind him. And here comes Matthew Burnett, started 13th. He's up to 8th and going for a 6th spot, and that's for 7th on Stapleton as they come off turn 2. He gets a little tight down low. Stapleton back clears. Rodriguez wants 5th from Jordan Stout, but once again, not enough of a run, and Jordan Stout's going to keep that spot for now. Here comes Philip Torres. He'll go for 8th on Burnett. He'll get the bottom of the racetrack and move that Otter Island car 1 spot closer to the front. Here comes Chris Jericho for 2nd place on Laura Chung.
I'm really surprised, honestly. Eli's falling back quite a bit, and now Burnett's the highest meme car, so I thought Eli was going to be able to work his way up, but I guess it's Burnett instead.
Yeah, Matthew Burnett.
Of course, Jericho looks pretty fast too. So.
Yeah, did you see that speed through 3 and 4? He was what, 3 car lengths back. Now he's on the back bumper of Matt Tuck. So that was a great corner for Jericho. He'll look for a pass into turns 1 and 2, showing the nose, gets right to the back bumper of Matt Tuck's Ford out in front. As Brian Rodriguez, Jericho's teammate, finally gets the pass done on Jordan Stout. So he'll move his way up to 5th, and Stapleton's going to go to 6th as well in that same move. As Jericho now all over Matt Tuck's back bumper. Max Davis watching on in 4th, and what a run for Jericho again through turns 3 and 4. He'll look low. I think he maybe got a little loose there. That's why he was looking low. But that 54, it's maybe the same as Matt Tuck through turns 1 and 2, but through 3 and 4, he is eating Matt Tuck's lunch at the moment. He's just maintaining through 1 and 2, and then carrying it all the way down the backstretch. See right there, he gets a little bit closer, not quite close enough to make the move quite yet, but watch through 3 and 4. We'll see if he has that same. He gets lower. He gets clean air on the car, and I think this time he'll have the nose to the inside, and he got a little tight, it looks like, though, Evan.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be it. I thought he was going to be able to lead a lap there at least. But your pick still looks pretty good here.
Max Davis going to get to 3rd by Laura Chung as he uses the bottom of the racetrack. Chung maybe got a little tight from Jericho having to lift in front of her. She'll actually gain some back on the outside down the back straightaway. That side-by-side battle brings Brian Rodriguez to the inside. He'll look for 4th on Laura Chung with Nathan Stapleton right behind. Jericho gains all that time back and again has forward momentum into the quad oval. This time he's going to go to the inside, Evan. This time he had the run.
There he comes.
And there goes that Spot 5 Chevrolet to the inside of turns 1 and 2. Chris Jericho trying to lead his first lap of the World 600 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The big guns have come to play, and these are 2 drivers, Jericho and Tuck, that had slow starts to the season, but have lately been moving up through the points. They're now inside the top 20 for the first time this season, and they're looking for some more as they're 1-2, but now it's Jericho leading the World 600. Here comes Max Davis, Matt Tuck's teammate, to the inside, but doesn't have to run to stay to the inside. Tuck filters into 2nd place.
I want to bring up what we were talking about at the start of the race. You're really starting to see the best teams separate themselves here, as the top 6 are all from the same 3 teams.
Yeah, how about that? 2 from Tucson, 2 from Otter Island, 2 from Vision. And as you mentioned, that's just the big teams. And then you have, the 3rd Otter Island car, also inside the top 10. But then you have an Ace Motorsports car. That's really a team we haven't talked about much this season. But then you have your car, Richard Crown Jr. for EKH Enterprise. And right behind that, another one of your cars, Riley Spurley Tube. And then another one of your cars a little bit further back. So you guys are performing at a decent level as well. Currently running all 3 of your cars inside the top 15. But at the front, Otter Island's going at it as Stapleton gets by Laura Chung.
Yeah, pretty soon here we might have all 3 Otter Island cars right next to each other, and they'll be battling each other.
Do you think Benny Watson wants that? I don't. If you're a team owner, Evan, you are a team owner. If all 3 of your cars were by each other, which they were at Montreal, and look out, Rodriguez nearly cut down when Stapleton was there, but all 3 of your cars were by each other at Montreal for a moment. That's when Riley started to have his issues. So I know it wasn't related to that, but would you want to see all 3 cars that close to each other?
Yeah, I don't think so, honestly. It just, at least at Montreal, it just seemed they didn't do anything to each other, but it just seemed like maybe there was some voodoo magic going on, and they just slowed each other down, I guess.
Lathan Strickland's moved inside the top 10. This is a driver and a team, Lathan and Full Sail Sport as a whole that have started to come into their own as of late, and they're up battling for chase spots with both Drew Martinelli and Lathan Strickland, and Jacob Miller not that far behind them as well. Riley Spurgeon back down to 11th. Keegan Thompson a solid night in 12th at the moment. Burnett battling for 13th with your third driver currently on the racetrack, Justin Seidel. They'll move by, and here comes Eli Bright trying to get the spots back they lost at the start. He was 6th at the start, fell back to about 20th or so. Now he's back up to 14th, get by Matthew Burnett. Drew Martinelli started pretty poorly in this race. He's moving up nicely. I think this is a driver and a team that could really surprise some people. I think he could definitely make it into the chase, and if he does, I would watch out. He could be an underdog to try and be up there in that championship fight. Zachary DeLello, Levi Shones are near each other. Jacob Miller between them. Galway Automotive had a pretty disappointing qualifying effort. Jack Haas started outside the top 35. Shones and DeLello both outside the top 20. Not what you come to expect out of the Galway team, but DeLello and Shones have both moved up inside the top 20. Gabe Willard kind of struggling. Kind of surprising. He started 15th. Would have expected him to move up inside the top 10. It's not been the case for the driver of the 27, stuck back in 20th. Joshua Cox has moved up nicely. Matthews Wells has dropped about 10 spots, but still rides in 22nd. Jerry Chen, who was the points leader, entering into Montreal, struggling here tonight. He started 18th. He's now backtracked to 25th as Jack Haas moves around him. Kind of surprising. The speedways have been his bread and butter. Even when he starts poorly, he's been able to move through the field. Then you have William Seaman and Tim Gary. Anthony Hernandez and Drew Webb, Tegan Fox rounding out the top 30. Ryan Wilson's dropped. Once again, was expecting him to perform. And Bryce Egan, the third Vision Motorsports car, struggling here tonight, back down in 34th, Evan. So one of the big name teams, but their third driver on the track at the moment, and a big hole outside the top 30.
Yeah, I'm really, honestly, it is kind of shocking still, like some of the bigger names in the back. I'm surprised to see Chen all the way in the back. Usually he works his way forward on these types of tracks, but he's working his way backward tonight.
Yeah, kind of interesting how tonight has unfolded at the moment, but it's still some pretty familiar faces at the front. Jericho's led a lot of laps this season, especially at intermediate tracks. I think to Texas and to Kansas, where he had the fastest cars. At Texas, it was a late restart that didn't go his way. At Kansas, it was a mechanical issue, a tire going down that didn't go his way. Well, here tonight, he's the Pied Piper, leading 2 Vision cars and 2 Honor Island cars around. These front 4 have actually gapped Laura Chung. They can see right there, there's the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Then Laura Chung's a good distance back, about a second back in 5th place. Brian Rodriguez in 6th, kind of in a world of his own. Jordan Stout still hanging tough in 7th. Have to give props to Jordan Stout and Ace Motorsports. They put together a pretty solid car, and I really hope that this can go the full race for them, because they need something to go right here in the 2025 season. Philip Torrey's right behind them, moving up nicely and trying to get up to 7th. Crown Jr. in 9th still, and Lathan Strickland still in 10th. Keegan Thompson, Ryan Spurgeon still 11th and 12th, and Drew Martinelli, when we last left him, was maybe 16th or 17th, and now he's up to 13th. So he's gotten a lot of spots there. He's moved through Eli Bright and some others back behind, like Matthew Burnett. And in fact, Burnett really struggling. There's a big pack of 5 cars right here as Burnett is on the outside. He actually brought Seidel back with him. And
yeah.
Here comes Jack Haas 3 wide into turns 3 and 4.
Wow.
That was a big move, especially for this late in a tire run.
Yeah. And Chen's going to follow him right through. Maybe he's starting his charge forward, too.
How about Jerry Chen there? Maybe trying to find the balance and trying to find some stability with that race car and trying to get some track position by following Jack Haas's big moves right there. So he's going to get about 2 or 3 spots with that one move off into turns 1 and 2. Now he's all over Jack Haas's back bumper here, racing off into turns 3 and 4. Doesn't quite make the move quite yet. Behind them, there's another group of 4 cars. Tim, Gary, William Seaman, Ludovic Charette, Anthony Hernandez in the big battle. Gary gets clear of that. He'll slide up the racetrack and try and get away. Nathan Stapleton's moved to 3rd while we were watching that battle. Stapleton for Auto Island Motorsports has gone by Max Davis, dispatched of him. His next sights are on Matt Tuck and then on the number 54 of Chris Jericho. So at the moment, Evan, with that in-season tournament around the corner, and tonight being the night where the number 1 seed gets locked up, Nathan Stapleton has that 1 seed at the moment. He's looking like he's not going to want to give it away unless something takes it away from him.
Yeah, he might be the favorite here. There's some strong guys, but he's looking real good right now.
And I mean, this was a driver and a team where it was like, how could they have not won up to Montreal? I mean, it was like they were so fast everywhere they went. It was just, they either had the second best car in the race or they had some unfortunate issues happen. But they finally got the monkey off their back at Montreal. And now here they are running inside the top 3 in the World 600 at Charlotte. And still these top 4 guys within 0.8 of a second. This is crucial to stay close enough to the race leader, Chris Jericho, once we get to pit stops, because they're coming up within the next 7, 8, 9 laps. if you want to try and undercut, it's 2 seconds of fall off over the course of a full fuel run. So, if you're 8/10 away, you pit a lap sooner. That math says you should get to the race lead if you have a good enough pit stop. So these front four, they're still close enough. Even Lord Chung is on the cusp of being able to do that. Brian Rodriguez, same story there. Jordan Stout's actually pulled away from Philip Torres. So the 77 kind of struggling. Keegan Thompson, meanwhile, was kind of far behind Crown Jr. and Lathan Strickland. Strickland's gained on Crown, but Thompson's gained on the both of them. And right behind them, Jude Martinelli saying that top 10 is right in my sights, and he's going for it. He's moved up to 12th by Riley Sprotube. So still some coming and going at this stage in the World 600. Lathan Strickland messes up turns 3 and 4. Here comes the third of Toussaint cars. To the inside, he'll grab that top 10 spot. So there we go. All three of the Toussaint cars are now inside the top 10, just where they started. But now it's Jericho leading, Rodriguez in 6th, Thompson in 10th. Once again, Toussaint Racing having a very, very strong night. Same could be said for Otter Island Motorsports. And you see Crown Jr. starting to gain on Torres. So Evan, I have to wonder, did Philip Torres coming up through the pack like he did at the start? He really flew up through there. Did he wear the tires out? Now he's starting to struggle as we get within pit stop range.
I think he may have. I think he and Martinelli are kind of running reverse strategies. Martinelli kind of saved his stuff, and now he's working his way up. I mean, he's caught right up to these guys, and Torres is sliding his way back now.
Yep, so Torres has Crown Jr. on his bumper. Martinelli has his teammate Lathan Strickland in his windshield, and I mean, look at that gap that he gains through turns 1 and 2. It's impressive what he can do. That 94 car is definitely in the racetrack at the moment, and you know what, if we get a caution, as he gets right to the bumper, is he trying to loosen up his teammate there? He
wow.
Followed him into the corner. I would have expected him to just go low. I think Lathan was maybe trying to give him the bottom, if anything.
Maybe Jude's trying to push him. I don't know.
Yeah, pushing through the corner. You can ask, like Dale Jr., Michael Waltrip, how that worked in 2005, pushing in the quad oval and whatnot. But I don't know if you want to do that here at Charlotte.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
Keegan Thompson continuing his march up. He just grabbed 9th from Crown Jr. I don't think he's stopping there because Torres and Jordan Stout are right there. Look at Strickland and Martinelli. I think Jude got tight in the dirty air. He was right behind the number 91. And Strickland got a run and almost ran into Crown Jr. for 10th place. So there's some crazy stuff going on here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for about 10th spot. Keegan Thompson again continuing his charge. There he comes onto Philip Torres and Jordan Stout. He just gains through the corners. That 6 is definitely hooked up at the moment. And Jordan Stout kind of struggling. Is the 66 maybe pitting, or are they just running higher for grip? I think they just ran higher for grip, and it nearly caused an incident between the 77 and the 6. Thompson trying to fight to the inside of Torres. Doesn't have quite enough to get there into turns 1 and 2. And Crown Jr. trying to fend off Lathan Strickland, and does for that 10th spot. So there's some good stuff going on here as Torres trying to fend off Thompson. Crown Jr. trying to fend off the Fos Autosport guys, and it's even continuing on further back. Levi Schoentz is passing Zach DeLello, who has Jerry Chen right there as well. So here comes Martinelli finally on teammate Lathan Strickland, and I think that time is going to make the pass made. So that's going to be for 11th place. And here comes Keegan Thompson as well in the same breath. So some moves being made, but now, Evan, we're in the pit stop window. So the leaders now, we'll see when they come down. Jericho's starting to gap those three a little bit, so I wouldn't be shocked if one of those three, if not all of those three, try to undercut Jericho and get the tires on sooner.
And remember, this is a 2-stop race, so you're going to see, even though the field's pretty spread out, you're probably going to see a lot of shakeups as here comes Torres on the pit road.
That's not shocking. He was really struggling.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Meme Motorsports.
And the meme cars.
Oh, all three of them.
Oh, wow.
Well,
and Egan, who, again, also was struggling, too.
Yeah, Bryce Egan needed that track position. He's going to try and get it via pit road. But the 3 meme cars, normally you want to split your strategies up, I feel like, as a team. Yeah. But they thought that was the definite best one to pit at lap 30. Now here come the front 4. They're all going to follow Jericho in and try and win this on pit road. And, in fact, here comes all the top 6. And Jordan Stout wants to lead a lap. I don't think he's led a lap this season.
He's going to get it.
Nice. So there you go.
Wow.
Ace Motorsports Jordan Stout lead. Riley Spritube's also stayed out. So we have some mixed bags of strategy. Levi Schoentz, Joshua Cox, Ludovic Charette has stayed out with Anthony Hernandez as well. There's Philip Torres, the first of the leaders in. Even some more guys are coming or are staying out, but we'll focus on Chris Jericho, who came in as the leader of this race. He led the front 4 in, and now we'll see. It's a routine 4-tire stop, it looks like, for the most part. Down and away, he'll leave, and nice I think that was actually a better stop than everyone behind him.
Yeah, I think he gapped him even more. Wow.
Lord Chung.
I'm surprised.
Lord Chung with a
Yeah,
terrible
wow.
stop.
Wow. She's going to be outside of the top 10 maybe.
There goes Philip
Yep,
Torres,
there goes Torres.
with his undercut strategy, trying to get tires on sooner. He's going to get up to Max Davis,
Wow.
who also had a slow stop. He fell behind Brian Rodriguez, but they're both going to fall behind Philip Torres, it looks like, as Torres comes with a head of steam, and he flies by. So one lap. That's all it took. One lap for Philip Torres over those guys around him, and he moved up from getting... Oh, no, he has an issue!
Oh, no!
Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
So you play the strategy, and you think you've done it perfectly. Is he going to make it back around? This could cause a yellow, and this could really... Oh, no, he's going to hold up Levi Shones.
Oh, poor Levi.
Now these were... Oh, no.
Oh.
Now Levi's having issues.
Wow.
I think this might bring out a caution.
Yeah.
He stopped.
Oh, he stopped.
Green lights are still on because he's off the racing surface. Yeah, wow, I'm surprised that was able to stay green, but it did.
Wow. That was a whole turn of events.
That was, and all that, Jericho's crew did an amazing job. Remember, Matt Tuck and Nathan Stipton, they followed Jericho onto pit road. They were right behind him practically. There's maybe a car length or two between them. Now there's 2.5 seconds, and that was all due to the pit crew. That was nothing to do with the 54 just did better in and out pit road. It wasn't anything like that because I think, if anything, the 11 of those guys gained as they're actually bound for a second. Nathan Stipton saying, all right, enough is enough. I have to go catch this 54 car. He'll get by Matt Tuck for second place.
I think you'd think that more cars would have, like in the top 3 or 4, would have tried the undercut to try to gain time on Jericho, but nothing.
Yeah, well, one of the weird things about a race like this is it's so long. A caution comes out, you get trapped a lap down, you have to get the wave around. Maybe that's something you save for the second stop. Now the problem is, are you going to be close enough when the second stop comes around? Because Jericho has you by 2.3 seconds. But, I mean, we just saw Philip Torres' mechanical issue. That happened to a front-running car. It could happen to anyone out here. But and as Jericho catches lap traffic, too, as Ludovic Charette's back on the pit road. So another issue to a driver. And she was one that did the overcut. So, and that's something mechanical because they're not going into the tires of that 02 car. Ah, wow. I mean, it's a long race. It's a long race, and you're running fast here. This is a big, big race for equipment issues to occur. If you're going to have equipment failures in a season, it might happen at the World 600. This is just one of those races where you push your equipment to the limits, and you hope the limits are good enough to survive all 80 laps of this one.
Yeah, we're not even halfway through yet.
Exactly. Well, how about these two, right? Jude Martinelli, Keegan Thompson. They were outside the top 10 for a good bit. Now they've gained a lot of time with pit stops. Martinelli's up to 6th. Thompson's up to 7th. All the while, Laura Chung was up there in 4th or so. 5th place, actually. She's now back to 9th and 9.5 seconds behind Chris Jericho. Then Jacob Miller has moved up to the top 10. So remember, as Lathan Strickland hovering around 10th. Now another Foes car has 10th place. It's Jacob Miller. Then you have Jordan Stout. He's back to 11th, but still in range of the top 10 and has a little bit better tires than some of the guys around him. Strickland's still in 12th, a very solid night for him. Here's 2 Galway Automotive cars. This is a big run for Jack Haas, who made the right pit strategy call there. I think he undercut, got the tires on sooner. He's now up into the top 15. He started this race, I think, 38th. So what a drive for Jack Haas. What a strategy call for him. Zarka DeLello also inside the top 15. Just moved to 14th by Matthew Burnett. William Seaman is up here as well. Bryce Egan with the undercut has gained up to the top 20. Jerry Chen, Riley Spurley Tube are 18th and 19th. Gabe Willard is 20th with his teammate Drew Webb. Eli Bright lost ground on pit stops. He's back down to 23rd. Zidell back there in 24th as well. Levi Shones really dropped. Remember, that was because he got stuck behind Philip Torres, who had his mechanical issue. Shones now back in 27th. He tried the overcut, so he lost ground because of that. And he lost even more ground because the 77 held him up. And speaking of the 77, he's back out there, Philip Torres is. But he is 5 laps down. Ludovic Charette fell a lap down. She's back out there, so they remedied whatever the issue was on the 02. And Cameron Jr. is falling a lap down on pace along with Chris Keselowski. And they've battled for second again. Matt Tuck got it. Now Stapleton got it back. from Matt Tuck. All that's doing is allowing Chris Jericho to pull away. It's now 2.7 seconds the margin up at the front of the field. Max Davis has gotten away from Brian Rodriguez. He holds a steady 4th place right now. Rodriguez bookends the top 5 for Tucson Racing in 5th. And then you have Jude Martinelli in 6th with Keegan Thompson in 7th. Laura Chung back up around Crown Jr. for 8th. Crown Jr. back to 9th. And top 10 spot currently held by Jordan Stein. Just got by Jacob Miller a lap or two ago. So move the 66 back up inside the top 10. But the gap at the front, Evan, continues to increase. 2.8 seconds. Jericho leads over Nathan Stapleton and Matt Tuck. And now they're catching up to lap traffic as well. They can get by them in a timely manner because Jericho's done a pretty good job getting by these 3 cars he's had to lap so far.
Yeah, I think we're just starting to see what we're starting to think about maybe what's gonna happen on the next set of pit stops, because I think Stapleton and Tuck they just keep battling each other, and they're at this rate they're not even gonna be able to come close to making up for that time on pit stops.
Here's a car making up time. It's Jericho's teammate, Keegan Thompson, and he sees his other teammate, Brian Rodriguez, to hold the top 5 spot. And you know what? If they could shuffle a car back to them, then they could put all 3 of their cars inside the top 5 in the World 600. That would be a very impressive feat for Tucson Racing. And you know what? They need a night like this. Stu Martinelli comes back at Keegan Thompson, but at the moment, with Philip Torres, his mechanical issue, back down there in 42nd place, on round, they have a guy in 2nd, they have a guy in 8th. So it's a solid points night, but they don't have all 3 cars because of Phillips' issues. Tucson Racing has all 3 cars at the front. Even, Vision Motorsports, they have 2 cars inside the top 5, and their 3rd car, Bryce Egan, not as bad as it was in 18th. So those guys, 2nd and 3rd in owner standings, Matthew Hubert for Vision Motorsports and Tuki Tucson for Tucson Racing, they're licking their chops right now, hoping that all 3 of their guys can keep going at the pace they're going.
Should be a big points day for them.
Matt Tuck has gotten to 2nd again by Nathan Stapleton. So, Evan, they keep battling, and now they're 3.5 seconds behind Chris Jericho. We've been seeing some dominant victories lately. We saw Laura Chung at New Hampshire. She pulled away. She played the right strategy. We saw Matt Tuck at Vermont. We saw Nathan Stapleton at Montreal. We've been seeing some pretty big margins of victories as of late, and it's not due to a lack of competition. There's been pretty competition in the race. The problem is just one guy happens to get it perfectly right. And look at this. Max Davis is going to push Nathan Stapleton to the inside of his teammate.
Might have more problems going on at Vision Motorsports.
Yeah, and this time it's the 2 others, right? It was Bryce Egan and Matt Tuck for all this season. Now it might be Matt Tuck and Max Davis. Although I think with that one, Max Davis made the move first, and Nathan Stapleton said not so fast and decided to block it and just got momentum from it. But Matt Tuck's still the same. Probably isn't going to be too happy that it just happened to be his teammate behind the 75 to pass him. Now Max Davis trying to stay to the inside of Matt Tuck, and does. So Matt Tuck, I thought that he maybe had a car pretty similar to Chris Jericho's, but at the moment he's kind of struggling. Max Davis was pretty far back. He was back there with Brian Rodriguez. Now you can't even see Brian Rodriguez in the same camera shot. So there he is way back there. So Max Davis has left the 62 and gained on the 2 in front. He's now up to 3rd place, so maybe he can be one if he can get to 2nd to run down Chris Jericho, who's gotten through a good bit of lap traffic and now has pretty clean track for the most part up until then we get to the double shirt, who's on better tires. Oh, and she might dump Noah Brady!
Oh, no!
Through the grass. Now watch for the leaders. Can he save his car?
Out.
Chris Jericho's coming. Oh, no! The race leader of the World 600 has crashed!
No.
And 2nd has crashed!
No!
And 3rd!
Oh, no!
And 5th! And 6th! And 7th!
No.
And 8th!
Oh!
Slow it down! Slow it down! Oh, no!
Oh!
This is big.
This is... Oh.
Well, that changes
Wow, these guys
everything.
are still flying through here.
Yeah, that's why we don't race back to the caution, I guess, right? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh!
Oh, no!
We just flipped the 35.
Oh.
And he's going to drive away.
Wow, he's fine.
The O2 started that, and she still ran into it.
Yeah.
Still ran into the stack up.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
look at that. That 54 and 75 were 1st and 2nd. They're on pit road and done.
Oh. And... Wow.
Max Davis has damage, too.
Yeah.
Lots
I
of
think
damage.
Tuck does, too.
Well, who does this?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, who does this work out for now? I mean, I don't really know, but we're on the edge of the. This is basically the pit window. 30 laps to go. They're pitting, so they can probably make it. I would have to assume, and they'll be saving under the caution. And anyone who has to repair damage will obviously save a little bit more fuel. These are guys that came down. They'll get waved around the pace car. See Matt Tuck waiting. They're repairing some damage on the 11. Same with his teammate. Brian Rodriguez does not have to repair damage. He's going to leave. He's trying to sweep those big races, and his teammate Keegan Thompson has rear damage, but that shouldn't be too bad. Jordan Stout's still up here.
Oh, Jordan Stout.
Drew Martinelli, Crown Jr., Zachary DeLello. And not too many more. We're still trying to get these guys around here. And
oh, here we go.
Yeah, so they'll all... Oh, my gosh.
Wow, yeah. That was big.
Yeah, this is a big one. Well, we'll wave these guys around. They're in between the pace car and the leaders. They'll get waved around, get back on. I believe it's going to be the lead lap. So Brian Rodriguez is now the new leader in what has been a wacky time here in the World 600 at Charlotte. Let's go check out what happened. Ludovic Charette and Noah Brady, and the leaders have absolutely nowhere to go and run right into the big accident.
Well, we've got a couple of cars racing for, 35th or so. We're not even. And looks like Ludovic Charette just turns Noah Brady in the 51, and he slides through the grass, and he's just along for the ride at that point. There's not much you can do when you're sliding through the grass here. And unfortunately, he comes right back up, right onto the track. He saves it, but Jericho's just going too fast and right into the back of the 51. And you'll see here that really nobody here could just slow down. Everybody piles in. The 05 of Bruno Giacomo. Ryan Wilson piles in. Those are lapped cars. The 57 missed it, but Nathan Stapleton drives right into Jericho. Max Davis is involved. Matt Tuck gets a little bit of damage. And just everybody, really. The 62 even gets a little bit of damage. And Drew Martinelli, Keegan Thompson stack up into each other. And here comes Laura Chung into the back of Keegan Thompson. That's where he got his rear end damage from. Jordan Stout gets a little bit of damage, and so does Jacob Miller, Roberto Crown Jr.
Hey, Crown Jr. might be good.
Yeah, he didn't hit too hard, but everybody behind him did.
That was a train wreck
Wow.
right there. Like,
yeah.
literally. Oh, and then that was a derailed car that came in late.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Our picks, both of our picks.
Yeah. Oh,
Hope Trey's pick
just went sour really quickly.
Oh, wait, we're still not done though.
Yeah, no.
Tim Gary says,
Yep.
I want to be a part of this too. Levi Schoen says, oh, I got held up here. Let me go a little bit faster than when I got held up. And that's, compared to what we saw, that's pretty minor. Johnny Cox decided he wanted to give him some more damage. And then Alex
Sanvitale.
And then,
just big hit. Right. And Hernandez, he's going to end up flipping from this somehow. Wow.
Oh.
Gutierrez, Wells. Looks like Hernandez just slow roll got.
Oh, and there's the car that started it all.
In the air on the banking.
She got back around to it.
Yeah, sure had to. Didn't get enough the first time. Had to pile in one last time.
Do you know why we don't race back to the caution in real life?
Yeah. This is it.
That could be a reason. But yeah, a whole lot of stuff going on here in the World 600. Just past the midway point, and the race is just derailed. We'll go take a look one more time at full speed. One more look off turn number 4 is Ludovic Charette. I just want to call it a dump. She dumped Noah Brady. And unfortunately, the first car to arrive on scene is the race leader, Chris Jericho, who has had so much unfortunate luck, and that just adds another way to lose a race for him. He's done it every way but that way, and now he's going to probably find another way somehow next time out. But it just keeps on coming and coming and coming. And, I mean, all these guys are guys that are running at the front, and this is a big opportunity for someone who hasn't won a race yet this season or hasn't been running well. I don't know if Gabe Willard had brakes. Eli Bright missed it, it looks like. Trey's going to be happy about that wherever he's watching down like a beach in Virginia.
Of course.
And there goes Hernandez, and there's Ludovic Charette arriving back at the scene of the crime. And
starts it and ends it.
yep, starts it and ends it. Exactly right. She capstoned the crash. There's the front two, the lap of the crash, where they sit now. Then as all the leaders came in, some had to fix damage and some didn't. Brian Rodriguez's team, either they did minor fixes or they decided to just go for it. He'll lead them off pit road. He's trying to sweep the Crown Jewel races if he can win this one, then the Southern 500. But there's still over 20 laps to go in the World 600. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll go back to the green flag. Lap, I believe it's going to be lap number 54. We'll have 27 laps to go, and it will be lap number 54. So Philip Torres is still in this race. He's now 6 laps down. The cars out include Bruno Giacomo, Joe Hendry, Angel Gutierrez, Tyler Belladonna, Anthony Hernandez, Alex Samatali, the leader Chris Jericho, second place Nathan Stapleton. Then you have Gabe Willard also out, Mathis Wells, and Jerry Chen in the 36. A lot of cars have been trapped a lap down because of this, because they had to repair on pit road, and they're well off. Philip Torres is 6 down. We mentioned his issues early on in the race when he came to a stop were brakes. I don't know how he came to a stop without brakes. I guess he just let it coast there. He was afraid to go any further without any brakes. Ludovic Charette, remember, she came down pit road. She had fresher tires. That's what got her into Noah Brady, caused that crash. Hers was a coolant leak that they had to fix on the O2. But guys that have fallen a lap down due to damage repair: Matthew Burnett, Levi Shones, Tegan Fox, Johnny Cox, Cam Wright Jr., Noah Brady, and Chris Keselowski. 22 cars on the lead lap. A lot of them are damaged. Even the race leader, Brian Rodriguez, ran into some guys. He didn't repair damage on pit road, so how good will he be? His teammate Keegan Thompson is second. Matt Tuck third. Jordan Stout, could he be a surprise underdog winner? Laura Chung. You have cars without hoods: Jude Martinelli and Zachary DeLello. We'll see how it goes on the restart. Green flag back in the air, and the World 600, 27 laps to go. And already Rodriguez is slow. Here comes the lap car to his inside.
Wow.
And even Keegan Thompson gets shoved high. Matt Tuck might be going for the lead in the number 11. Remember, he took the time to repair damage on pit road.
I think Tuck might be the one to watch here. I think
Maybe Jordan Stout,
really,
3 wide!
Yeah, Jordan Stout.
For Ace Motorsports, Jordan Stout to the bottom, but Matt Tuck gets gripped through the middle of the racetrack. Laura Chung all the way down low, 3 wide past the Toussaint cars. Matt Tuck gets through on the outside, but is blocked in by Chris Keselowski. Jordan Stout still is the inside of turn 1, and they're still 3 wide for third. Jordan Stout trying to take it now. He's blocked by Chris Keselowski, but it's the inside through turns 1 and 2. And Jordan Stout leads for Ace Motorsports here at Charlotte. And Laura Chung, the pole sitter, coming back up. And Crown Jr.'s not damaged. And Drew Martin without a hood is passing guys.
Wow. This just got real interesting.
Well, Jordan Stout
Here
now
comes Laura
leads.
Chung now.
Yeah, Laura Chung, the pole sitter. She has maybe the fastest car here. She didn't get to show it early on. Keselowski nearly cut down to Matt Tuck. Crown Jr. to 4th. Thompson 5th. Rodriguez 6th. Martinelli 7th. DeLello 8th. Davis 9th. Jacob Miller 10th. Matt Tuck back for 2nd. That's what Jordan Stout wants to see. He knows that he's probably in an inferior car to the guys around him. But if they keep battling behind him, he can try and pull away and save his tires a little bit. But here comes Crown Jr. That car is pretty clean for where he was in this crash. He's trying to win EKH Enterprises' first points race of the season, going for a third on Laura Chung, but he gets a little slow down low. Chung will keep the spot. And here comes Brian Rodriguez, restart first, coming back in the 62.
This could be the race. We could get a new team win, really.
Yeah.
We got Ace Motorsports up there, and we got my team up there, too.
Ooh, Matt Tuck was sideways off turn 4, trying to get to the inside. Jordan Stout, that slowed him up. Laura Chung's going to move out as Crown Jr. is trying to fend off the Toussaint cars behind, who are damaged and a little bit slower on the straights, but through the corners they're pretty good because you don't have to be all that fast through the corners if it's horsepower related. As what this crash has done, Mean Motorsports now has 2 cars inside the top 15. Williamson and Eli Bright. Zidell's moved up about 8 or 10 spots from where he was. He's now up to 16th. Ryan Wilson back up to the top 20. Tim Gary and Joshua Cox. All 3 ace cars are inside the top 20 as they run. Jack Haas and Drew Weber, the last cars on the lead lap. Jordan Stout now has his hands full with Laura Chung and Brian Rodriguez, and Chung gets a better 1 and 2. In fact, it's a magnificent turns 1 and 2 for the 79. She gains down the back straightaway, but not enough to get to the inside. Brian Rodriguez gets to the inside. So whatever it was on the 62 on the restart, Evan, it looks like it was maybe just getting up to speed because that 62 looks pretty decent now.
Yeah, I'm honestly really shocked because they did not repair damage, and he's holding his own up here.
Yeah, and you can see there is a pretty decent buckle on the hood of that car. So It's still pretty good, though, but they've all had trouble finding a way around Jordan Stout in the 66 car. Maybe this lap could be the lap, but Brian Rodriguez might have his hands full with Matt Tuck now. Number 11 car is going to move to the inside. It's a revolving door for second place. Who's going to be the one to revolve through to the lead by Jordan Stout? Maybe it might be Matt Tuck. This is a great opportunity to the quad oval. He gets a run. Lord Chung side by side for third. Tuck's not close enough, and there is obviously still damage to these guys, right? You know, Matt Tuck, you see the left side all scraped up. There could be some more underlying issues. Jordan Stout's car was pretty clean. He just got a tap on the back, and see right here, Matt Tuck and Laura Chung are all over the back bumper. Jordan Stout, 20 laps to go in the World 619 at the line. Still Stout leading for Ace Motorsports with Matt Tuck and Laura Chung, Brian Rodriguez, and Crown Jr. There goes Tuck for the lead in the quad oval. He doesn't have enough, though. Stout hangs tough, and Rodriguez comes for third place on Chung.
I'm just bewildered at this. Yeah, you've even got some lapped cars just holding their own too that, you know, just are able to keep up with these lead cars because they're so damaged.
Yeah, Johnny Cox and Ludovic Charette are still up here as well. As you know what, we were talking about how bad the night was for Bryce Egan. He is now inside the top 10 and gaining on the front six because of how slow they are. There he is in 7th place. And even guys further back, you know, Martinelli and DeLello had no hoods. Riley Spurgeon's moved up inside the top 10 now to 8th place by all these guys. But they keep battling for 2nd place, which is, it's kind of funny to see that they all want to be the one to get to Jordan Stout, but you won't get to Jordan Stout if no one plays nice. That time Rodriguez took Tuck's line away and kind of made him go higher than he wanted to. He'll drop 2 spots, but now Lord Chung has a run after Brian Rodriguez. 18 laps to go in the World 600. Egan is on the scene, and he's going for 6th on Keegan Thompson. If Egan were to win tonight, it would be his 3rd victory of the season, the most of anyone so far through the first 14 races. Lord Chung again wants 2nd place. She'll move out on Brian Rodriguez. They are not catching Jordan Stout at the rate they are doing it. As I'm kind of surprised Crown Jr. has not been able to get up to these front 4. His car is pretty clean. He's also having trouble with Johnny Cox back there, but Bryce Egan is flying. That 18, I think it's clean, and might be the fastest car out here right now, Evans. We had Tegan Fox come down pit road and off with apparent issues on that 59.
Yeah, I've been silently watching Crown, and he's really just, I thought he didn't have too much damage, and he's just been struggling a little bit, but ooh, looks like Chung's gonna go to the lead here.
Yep, someone finally did it on Jordan Stout. He held the lead for lap after lap. Time has run out, though. Laura Chung to the inside. Jordan Stout to the outside. Matt Tuck to the inside with Laura Chung. Brian Rodriguez goes high with Jordan Stout. As they work through 1 and 2, Laura Chung is clear and now leads the World 600 for the first time since early on in this race. Matt Tuck will clear Jordan Stout for 2nd. He may have to watch for his teammate and rival, Bryce Egan, who's coming up to 3rd in the blink of an eye. He was just 5th last lap. He gained 2 spots right there in that 1 lap. So Bryce Egan is in it to win it as well in the final 15 laps. We have 14 laps to go in the World 600, and Crown Jr. trying to get a spot from Brian Rodriguez. That is for a top 5 spot. That's big for Crown Jr. Needs every point he can, trying to gain on the top 10. But speaking of gaining, Matt Tuck wants another win. It would be a 2nd of the season, trying to fend off teammate Bryce Egan and trying to get by Laura Chung all at the same time. This has turned into quite the chaotic race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're not quite over. Still 13 laps to go, and now a 3-car breakaway as Jordan Stout starts to kind of fall off in that 66, and Bryce Egan, Matt Tuck, and Laura Chung are starting to gap a little bit, but Bryce Egan, the guy in 3rd, looks to be the fastest of the front 3, Evan.
Yeah, I think Egan's the car to watch here. As here he goes.
Oh, Matt Tuck tried to block!
Go to the yeah, he tried to block him, but Egan's there. These two do have history.
They do, and Matt Tuck is not going to let him get by easy. Even though he's a teammate, he's fighting hard on the top side. Egan has better straightaway speed. Matt Tuck is still pretty good through the corners. Oh, by the way, lap traffic is still ahead. So you can never count out lap traffic throwing a wrench into the end of this race. Well, now, Laura Chung and Bryce Egan are running 1-2. They are the 2 drivers that have multiple victories this season, so both of them are going for their 3rd. We'll see which of the 2 can do it head-to-head. In front of the leaders is Cam Wright Jr. and Drew Webb. They're slow enough they should be fine to get by if they catch them in the right spots. Laura Chung still leads. 11 laps to go here at Charlotte. They catch at a terrible spot. Egan's all over Laura Chung's bumper. No one gets around. Cam Wright Jr. is going to accordion every one of the top few back together now. Who gets around Cam Wright Jr. first? It will be all 3 at the same time up the back straightaway.
And then Webb's going to hold him up.
Well, that brought Jordan's down Brian Rodriguez. In fact, Rodriguez takes it 3 wide on Stout and Cam Wright Jr. Chung gets through, and Matt Tuck's not going to give Bryce Egan any breaks. The fastest car is falling back. Oh, that was a big move for him to get through the middle there.
Yeah. I thought that could end, but he's still got time to get back up there.
Yes, he does. He's in 4th place, still has to pass 3 cars. Further back, Eli Bright has moved up to 8th. You have all 3 cars inside the top 10 right now. Crown Jr. in 6th, Spurlingtube in 9th, and Justin Zeidel in 10th. Tim Gary is up to 11th for Ace Motorsports, so continuing that great night for the team. But here we go for the lead. Matt Tuck is coming back after Laura Chung into turns 1 and 2. With 9 laps to go, Tuck and Chung balance side by side, and Bryce Egan already getting back by Brian Rodriguez for 3rd place. So this is not over, folks. Matt Tuck and Laura Chung are still battling, and Bryce Egan, the cleanest car in the front few, is licking his chops in 3rd place, knowing he can get up here and battle, and it might have to be with his teammate and foe, Matt Tuck, for the race victory.
Oh, he's gaining huge as they battle.
Oh!
Wow.
Well, he's there, and I think they know it. Now what does Matt Tuck do? What can he do? In fact, Laura Chung might do the best thing for Matt Tuck and get back clear of Bryce Egan, and she does. So she'll fend off the effort from the 18 for now. But the problem for Matt Tuck is Laura Chung also wants to lead herself. And she's coming back after the driver, the number 11. So a Ford and a Toyota battle for the win with another Ford and then a Chevy just lurking there in the 4th position. Chung looking low and might go for the lead in turn 1. Here she goes with 7 to go. Chung back to the inside on Matt Tuck. This is a, who can go fastest with a damaged race car? Well, right now, these front 2 don't know who is the one that's fastest. And Bryce Egan in 3rd is wondering when he can maybe make a 3-wide move, because if they stay side by side, he's not going to have a shot. But Chung clears, Matt Tuck falls back. Bryce Egan might have a shot for a second, but once again, Matt Tuck fights hard on the outside, not letting his teammate through without any breaks. 6 laps to go here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
They're catching another lapped car, though, Joe.
Noah Brady in the 51, so he was the first one to get spun around. Laura Chung might catch in a great spot. Oh, no, the 51 wasn't quite slow enough to catch on the straightaway, so she catches through the corner. Problem for Bryce Egan, Matt Tuck is not letting him clear.
Wow.
In fact, Matt Tuck is power moved around the outside. Can he get clear before the 51? Egan's going to use the 51 as a pick, though, and this is going to get him clear, and now he'll be the one to run down Laura Chung with 5 laps to go.
He's got an opportunity here. And don't count Rodriguez out. He's hanging tough there in 3rd.
The front 2 could have an altercation, and he could pounce at the right moment to try and win this one. But does Bryce Egan have the speed he had just about 5 laps ago to run Laura Chung down? We have 4 laps to go in the World 600. Think about, 80 laps, 120 miles. It's come down to this. Between the front 4 cars, 0.6 of a second separate them with 4 to go. And Bryce Egan, the guy in 2nd, is faster than race leader Laura Chung at this moment. The question is, can he find a way around before the checkered flag comes out? We'll find out in 3 laps' time. Rodriguez runs the bottom of the racetrack. Matt Tuck trying a different line in 4th place. Meanwhile, Laura Chung still leads, looking for a 3rd victory on the season. 3 laps to go at Charlotte. The gap between the 2 came down a little bit. Egan is gaining on the straightaways. Laura Chung a little bit better through the corners. It's all going to come down to this white flag lap, Evan.
I think Egan's feeling pretty good. If he can knock down, a 10th maybe here, then he'll be pretty happy, because Tuck's hidden behind Brian Rodriguez.
Yep, Matt Tuck can't get up there and try and spoil his teammates' party. Matthew Burnett came down pit road. Now remember, they pitted at the fuel window 30 laps. If he didn't get it quite full, that could be an issue. There was another car on pit road as well with 2 to go. Meanwhile, Bryce Egan has gained on Laura Chung, but now the question has to flip. Do the leaders have enough fuel to make it the distance before the checkered flag comes out? We'll have to see if any of the front runners run dry in this final 2 miles or so. Here we come through turns 3 and 4. Laura Chung keeps the lead over Bryce Egan. Matt Tuck on for 3rd. He has to pit, though. Matt Tuck's out of fuel. Others are out of fuel as well. The white flag is out for Laura Chung. 1.5 miles to go, but Bryce Egan is gaining in the 18 into turns 1 and 2. We'll have to see, can Laura Chung hold off both these drivers going for their 3rd victories of the season. Laura Chung through 1 and 2 well, up the back straightaway for the final time. Bryce Egan a good distance back, not close enough to make a dive into turns 3 and 4. He'll try a little bit different lane through turns 3 and 4. Laura Chung hugs the bottom, and it's going to get her the victory. Otter Island didn't look like the best team here tonight, but they're going to steal one after all the drama. Laura Chung wins her 3rd race of the 2025 season. And I think Brian Rodriguez ran dry at the checkered flag.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Wow. Well, you know, we we couldn't end the race without a little more chaos, could we?
No, there had to be drama all the way to the checkered flag. It's the World 600 after all. I think Jacob Miller may actually be out of fuel there in the 95.
Oh, what?
Oh. Got clipped by Bryce Egan. He's out of fuel, so he can't go.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. And there are some guys still trying to take the checkered flag because they were on pit road and they had already taken the white, so they're trying to get back around. It's a whole mess of stuff going on. But how about Laura Chung, Evan? I mean, and you know what? This was big for her. I talked about at the beginning of the race, the in-season tournament, trying to lock up that #1 seed. While Nathan Stapleton was the points leader entering in, he wrecked. Jerry Chen was second in points. He wrecked. Brian Rodriguez ran out of fuel. I think Laura Chung's going to be the points leader. She's going to get the lock into the second round of the in-season tournament.
Good for her. I mean, she really just hung in there all day, and she was not the fastest car, but she's hung around, and when chaos struck, she had the car to beat at the end.
Yep, exactly right. So that's just how it played out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Sometimes it gets a little bit chaotic, and tonight was one of those nights. So you know, there's a lot to recap in this one, and let's first start with, Evan, the big turning point of the race. You know, we're 30 laps to go. You know, things are looking great for Chris Jericho. He's out there leading by a country mile. They're battling for second place. Jericho has no contest. Then, you know, a car gets spun in front of him, and he gets involved in the crash, and a bunch of the other leaders pile in, and it creates this big mess up of a running order where you know, this was a weird race, Evan. I'll just put it like that.
It was definitely weird for sure. I mean, just looking at the running order, we've got guys like Jordan Stout in third, and Tim Gary up there in 8th. I mean,
Double A Motorsports top 10. Did you have that in your bingo card at the beginning of the night? Probably not.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, while, you know, chaos sometimes isn't great, right? It was still entertaining even after the chaos. I'll give it that. So props to the drivers that were left to able to put on a good enough show here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, now, after all the chaos has settled, let's now go take a look at the finishing results. So here's how they finished in the World 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Laura Chung holds off a hard-charging Bryce Egan to claim her 3rd victory of the season over Egan, who's also looking for his 3rd victory of the season. He'll have to sell for a second, but a really good point tonight for a driver who, at the start of the race, was looking like it was going to be a sub-30th place run in a Vision Motorsports car. Jordan Stout leads a big night for Ace Motorsports. Stout ends up in 3rd here tonight, led a lot of laps. Unfortunately, didn't have the car to hold off some of the big names around him, but still a very, very solid night. While it did have to come with some chaos, he was running inside the top 10 all night long, even before the chaos struck. Roberto Crown Jr. puts in a good night for EKH Enterprises in 4th, and Keegan Thompson with his 7th top 5 of the season, series tying most with Nathan Stapleton. Eli Bright, he started 6th, didn't really talk about him at all during the race. He still ends up in 6th anyway. 7th to Riley Spurtube. He really had to fight it out there at the end and had the field to make it, got some spots that way. Tim Gary ends up in 8th, so how about a double Ace Motorsports top 10, and Tim Gary with a big points night for him. William Seaman a big points night. I think that gains him 5 spots and points in 9th, and Ryan Wilson for Crispy Fried Racing Ventures gets a top 10. Lathan Strickland, solid night even after all his damage in 11th. Brian Rodriguez had to come down pit road for fuel at the end. He ends up in 12th. Zachary DeLello didn't have a hood, still ends up in 13th. Max Davis, Joshua Cox round out the top 15. So all 3 Ace Motorsports cars finished inside the top 15 here tonight. Matt Tuck ran dry with 2 laps to go. He ends up in 16th, but stayed on the lead lap. Justin Zidell also ran dry, ends up in 17th. Then a lot of these guys down here, Jude Martinelli in 20th. He also ran out of fuel. Even further down, as we look down, a lot of cars a lap down or more. Jack Haas ran out of fuel at the checkered flag. He had to come down pit road and fell another lap down, I do believe. We had 31 cars finish this race. 31st, Philip Torres was 7 laps down. Then Jerry Chen from 32nd all the way down to Bruno Giacomo in 42nd. We're out of this race because of that major crash and stack-up that we saw around lap 50 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now we take a look at the points. Big for the top 20. Remember, they are locked into the in-season tournament. The top 20 in points are for Laura Chung, who's now the new points leader, up by 13 over Brian Rodriguez. She now is into the second round of the in-season tournament. She gets a bye for round number 1. So at Pocono, obviously she's still going to go out there. That's the race to get into the in-season tournament for 21st to 42nd in points. But Laura Chung, when we get to Vancouver, will be able to rest easy. She's not going against anyone. Brian Rodriguez is in along with Nathan Stapleton, Jerry Chen, Max Davis, Bryce Egan, Jack Haas, Keegan Thompson, Riley Spurley-Tube, and Gabe Willard. That's the top 10. 11th to 20th are Roberto Crown Jr., Lathan Strickland, Jude Martinelli, Eli Bright, Philip Torres, Zach DeLello, Matt Tuck, Jordan Stout, Jacob Miller, and Justin Zeidel. Those are the drivers that are locked into the in-season tournament for a fact. They cannot fall out. Those are the 20 drivers, and they are going to be the top 20 seeds for the in-season tournament. Missing it by 4 points because of the crash here tonight, Chris Jericho will be going up against Angel Gutierrez at Pocono. Highest of those guys. So the highest of these next pairs that we're going to mention, they are they'll be in to the 31-person tournament. So it's going to be Jericho versus Angel Gutierrez at Pocono, Ludovic Charette versus Tegan Fox, Matthew Burnett versus Noah Brady, Levi Shones versus Tyler Belladonna, Ryan Wilson versus Robert Ashford, Joshua Cox versus Johnny Cox. How did that work out? I don't know. Joshua Cox is going up against Johnny Cox. You can't script it any better. William Seaman is going up against Chris Keselowski. Anthony Hernandez will go against Joe Hendry. Alex Sanvitalia will go against Mathis Wells. That's teammates right there. Cam Wright Jr. going against Drew Webb. And Bruno Giacomo going against Tim Gary. So that's how the matchups will play out for Pocono. Once again, the highest of those pairings for finishing result at Pocono will be seeded 21st to 31st based by their point standings. And then we'll move on to those 5 races and go to the in-season tournament. Right now, the wildcard spots belong to still Eli Bright and Matt Tuck. They are the only 2 winners from 11th to 20th in points. Obviously, Levi Shones also has a shot at the wild card. He's 24th in points. Remember, you have to be top 25, but he's lower than both Eli and Tuck in the point standings. Obviously, Tuck is locked in because of his all-star victory. Now the team points, the owners' points. Otter Island still leads, but it wasn't all that great of a night for them. Nathan Stapleton, Rex, Philip Torres had his issues, so they still lead, but Vision Motorsports and Tucson Racing have cut into that gap. They're starting to close in a little bit. All the way up to 4th place, EKH Enterprises was 7th after Montreal. Now 4th place, but it's still not even 40 points. 39 points separating EKH Enterprises in 4th and Southern Cross Racing in 7th. Me Motorsports in 8th had a solid night, but Ace Motorsports had a better night, and Ace now moves in to 60 points behind Me Motorsports for 8th. That could be a good battle throughout the rest of the season. Crispy Fried Race Adventures final spot inside the top 10. So, Evan, final thoughts from a chaotic race here in the World 600 at Charlotte, where we see Laura Chung, even with all the chaos, still Otter Island Motorsports getting to victory lane for the 4th time this season.
I thought it was going to be pretty tame. The first half really was tame. I thought we were going to get a good strategy race, and then disaster struck, really. And, some of the top contenders were taken out, but overall, it was pretty fun. Laura Chung had the car to beat at the end, and Bryce Egan came out of nowhere. We thought maybe he could get it done, but still some of the top contenders finishing up front, but you got some underdogs too. It was a fun race.
It's kind of ironic how I believe the only 2 times this season the pole sitter has gone on to win the race. Eli Bright at Boston, Laura Chung at Charlotte. It looks like, very straightforward race. Completely different scenarios, right? It's just nothing straightforward about how they won their races from pole, but somehow, some way, they do win it from pole. So, that's just how it goes. But next 2 times out on JRTV, obviously at Pocono. Next time out for the Turkey Hill 400, that'll be next Monday. That is, once again, the qualifier for the in-season tournament. We already know 20 of them. We're going to then know the next 11 that join them. And then in 2 weeks' time, also on Monday, we will start out the in-season tournament from a short track in Vancouver. that is going to be a fun one there. We'll see how short track racing goes and if there are any upsets in round number 1 of the in-season tournament. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoyed their Memorial Day holiday, and hope the DeWalt Cup Series World 600 capped off Memorial Day weekend in a good way for everyone. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Congratulations to Laura Chung, Benny Watson, Adrian Motorsports on winning here tonight at Charlotte. For Evan Hunter, I'm Joe Rakowski. So long from the Charlotte Motor Speedway.